On this last Sunday in July, America, we have to ask ourselves, where is the line in the sand? What is the straw that's going to break the camel's back when it comes to Donald Trump and the MAGA mentality of destruction? And in this breaking story, you're going to see where we are literally on the brink, out of a state you wouldn't necessarily expect to hear it from. Because what has been driven home, what has been lied about, and the narrative out of Fox News, Newsmax, Donald Trump, and every single one of his sycophants since coming down that escalator in 2015 has brought us to this point. Because we're no longer at the point where Donald Trump says, I could shoot someone on Park Avenue and not lose a vote. Oh, no, no, no. We're way past that. You can go back to a movie called V for Vendetta and see exactly where we are. And I'm going to show that story to you in just a few seconds. You will not believe your freaking ears when you hear this. But let's be reminded that this right here is part of the narrative that has caused this breaking story. Check this out.
Undocumented immigrants paid more in taxes in 1 year than Donald Trump did in 3 years combined. But please explain to me how the average undocumented worker making low wages is somehow a drain on the system versus there's a billionaire sitting in his ivory tower paying virtually nothing. In just 2022 alone, undocumented immigrants paid almost $100 billion in taxes. To break that down, that's an average of $8,889 per person. On the other hand, Trump paid $750 in both 2016 and 2017, and absolutely nothing in 2020. He also claimed a $5 million refund that same year. We'd love to make a direct comparison in 2022, but we all know getting Trump's tax returns is no easy feat. So you have $100 billion in 1 year or $1,500 in 3. You do the math. The system is broken at the state level too. In 40 states, undocumented immigrants paid higher tax rates than the top 1% in those same states. For example, in Florida, the current tax rate for undocumented immigrants is 8%, whereas it's 2.7% for the state's top 1%.
This kind of goes to the point of what's gone on for the last 8 years, where you have someone and a set of corporate elites at less than 1% of America who make $100,000 an hour, who get the people who make $25 an hour to believe that the people who make $7 an hour are the problem.
And in Texas, undocumented immigrants contributed $4.9 billion in state and local taxes, which is more than the state collected for alcohol, cigarettes, tobacco, and hotel occupancy combined. But here's the kicker. This means that undocumented immigrants are paying for your social services, contributing $25.7 billion to Social Security and $6.4 billion to Medicare in 2022. And they aren't even allowed to access them. So Trump is deporting taxpayers, but giving tax cuts to the ultra-wealthy.
But it's gone to a severe degree now with the Department of Homeland Security and ICE and the way they're handling no due process in the United States of America, because what it has created, wait till you hear this kind of response from a caller into C-SPAN this morning with regards to how they believe Trump should go even further and actually do this to people. Check this story out.
Ryan's waiting in Orange, Massachusetts. Good morning.
Hi. I like what the Trump administration's doing, but I think they could be doing a little bit more. Number one, they could militarize the border and shoot illegals coming into the country. Number two,
Brian, why do you think we need to go so far as to shoot people coming into the country?
Because other countries do it and they keep their immigration way down. Another thing they can do, besides when an employer hires an illegal, number one, not only should they fine them, they should imprison them for doing it. Okay, you have to get really tough to solve this problem. And another thing that my Democratic colleagues who keep saying, oh, they're violating their due process rights. These people have very limited due process rights, and you could also process them like a military combatant, putting them in a military tribunal, finding them guilty, and then shipping them the hell out of the country. Us American people, we are sick and tired of having our tax dollars go to federal programs, state programs for housing, for illegals who don't pay taxes into the system. Enough is enough. I mean, Trump's doing a good job, in my opinion, but I think they could go a lot further and solve this problem.
Yeah, let's just shoot them. Skip due process, skip people who are actually going to court for their appointments and taking them there, skip taking them from actual jobs they're at, skip taking people who are American citizens, who are documented, people wearing masks, all of that. Seriously, go back and watch the movie V for Vendetta, predicated on a government that has an entire plot and plan and it goes awry and they convince the entire country they need to basically live under martial law. It sounds silly. We sometimes in our own private lives laugh at the orange train wreck in the White House, but that phone call from a person who's in the state of Massachusetts, which certainly isn't all Democratic, but it's highly Democratic. Trust me, I know people in the state of California who feel the exact same way. I even know people who employ undocumented illegal workers in the heartland farming who are okay with their workers, but let's get rid of everybody else. The level of hypocrisy, the cognitive dissonance, the abject absurdity of what Trump and his 9 years has done to this country. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to repair it, but this is where we are. Let's be clear. You have people calling in, not to some whack job radio show, and not to some whack job far-right crazy town pundit or podcaster. Oh, no. You have someone calling into C-SPAN saying, yeah, we should just go ahead and shoot them. You guys try to have a good Sunday and stay frosty.